Your voice as a parent is the inner voice of your child. So what are you saying as a parent? Your child will grow up remembering your voice. Your child will grow up remembering the things you say to him or her on a daily basis. So what you say today becomes what your child believes tomorrow. So what are you saying as a parent? Are your words seasoned with salt? Are your words empowering? Are your words uplifting to your child? What are you saying as a parent? You know, a lot of us have to do like an audit of the things we say to ourselves first, and also the words we say to our children. Your words is going to be the inner voice of that child. Your words are going to be the words your child is going to believe, is going to live with. So are you saying those words that when your child grows up and remembers your word, your child will be grateful and happy that you parented that child? Or are you saying those words that when your child grows up and want to try something, want to do a business or do something, and your child remembers your words, your child feels discouraged? I am here to tell us that as parents, we must be intentional with the words we say to ourselves and the words we say to our children. A lot of parents will tell you that, oh, I'm just joking. A lot of us put labels on our children. And do you know what labels does? When you label a child or when you label someone, the person starts to live in accordance to that label. When you label a child lazy, the child starts to act like someone that is actually lazy. The child says things like, after all, my parents calls me lazy, so after all, I'm lazy. When you label a child unkind words, when you label a child different names, and you say you're just joking, you're not just joking. That is the voice your child is going to remember when that child grows up or while that child is growing up. Those are the words that child will remember. Those are the words that child is going to live with or live by as that child is growing up. So your words, are your words seasoned with salt? The Bible says our words should be seasoned with salt. The Bible did not just say when you're speaking to great people in the society, your words should be seasoned with salt. No. The Bible did not say when you're speaking to your boss alone, your words should be seasoned with salt. No. The Bible did not say when you're speaking to great people in high authority, your words should be seasoned with salt. No. The Bible specifically said our words should be seasoned with salt. That means when you're talking to your child, your words should be seasoned with salt. When you're talking to your baby, your words should be seasoned with salt. Don't say this is a baby. This is a child. He doesn't understand. He can't comprehend what I am doing. At every point in time when we are speaking as parents, our words should be seasoned with salt. Our words should be the words that empower. Our words should be the words that uplift. Our words should be the words that will transform our children positively. Our words should be the words that will make our children to make right and positive decisions, that will make them to move from point A to point B, because your word is going to be the inner voice of your child. Most of us as parents, we can remember the voices of our caregivers. Most of us can remember the voices of our parents. For example, you want to venture into a business and you remember the words your parents said to you. You remember the words, probably your neighbors, those people that cared for you while you were growing up, those things they said to you. Those are now your inner voice. Probably they encouraged you, they told you you could do it, and you went on and ventured into that business. Some people, when they want to start up a thing, when they want to venture into anything, the voice that comes to them is the voice that you can't do it. That is why you find out that a lot of us parents, we limit ourselves so much. You meet a parent, you tell your parent, okay, can you get a book for yourself? And most parents will tell you, no, I can't read this book. I don't have the time. I'm going to read this book in years, maybe 2 years. It'll take me 2 years to finish a book. Probably it's because of our conditioning, the way we were conditioned, what we have been meant to believe over the years. But I am here to tell us that we can be intentional with our words. We can begin to speak positive positively about ourselves and our children, we can begin to retrain, reprogram the words we say to ourselves and to our children, because your word will become the inner voice of your child. Your words will also be your own inner voice. So as parents, how can we be more intentional to speak the right words to our children? Because we've come to knowledge that our words make up the belief of our children. Our words is going to be what our children will live with. How can we be more intentional on a daily basis? How can we break this thing down on a daily basis to speak the right words to our children? Number one, you must understand that as a parent, affirmation shapes the identity of your child. So what are you saying to your child? Are you affirming your child in the right way, in the positive way? What affirmations are you telling your child on a daily basis? Are you telling your child that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you? Are you telling your child that you can grow, you can become, you can do anything you put your minds on? Affirmation defines the identity of your child. So what are you equipping your child with? Or are you the parent that discourages your child at every slight instant? Are you the parent that discourages your child when your child is trying to learn a skill, your child is trying to learn how to do something, probably your child is learning how to wash the dishes or sweep the house or take their bath? Are you that parent that discourages them? Or are you that parent that cheers up your child and tell your child, go girl, you can do this. Go boy, you can do this. It is important we intentionally affirm our children on a daily basis. Affirmation that is structured towards them having a growth mindset. Not affirmation that makes them feel entitled. Not the affirmation that will make them not to be able to move or do a thing if they are not affirmed. But affirmation that makes them to be self-leaders, to be their own leaders, that is going to shape their identity. The affirmation that is going to tell them, this is who you are in God. You are worthy. You are enough. When God created you as a child, when God created you as a person, God said everything is beautiful. Are you affirming your child with those kinds of affirmation? Because those are the affirmations that is going to shape the identity of your child. Those are the affirmations that is going to shape the identity of our children. How many of us as adults grew up hearing these words like you are worthy? Most of us tend to hear these words probably as young people, as teenagers, or even as adults. Even as parents, a lot of us still feel unworthy because we did not grow up hearing these words. We are not affirmed with these words so that it has shaped our identity. So what if you begin to do something differently for your child? What if you begin to affirm your child with the word of God, with who your child truly is? What if you tell your child things like you are worthy, you are enough? What if you tell your child things like you are a creative force? You have the ability and the capacity to create like your Father, God who is in heaven. When you do that, you shape the identity of your child. Because your child begins to understand that this is my source. I am coming from God. So since I am a source, my source is from God. That means what God can do, I can also do. You begin to intentionally shape the identity of your child. So one of the ways as parents, we can speak the right words. We can speak those words that become the positive or the inner voices of our children is to use affirmation that shape their identity. Not affirmation that makes your child entitled, but affirmation that reminds your child of who your child is. Affirmation that shapes them, that reminds them that you are from a source. You are created from God. And because God can do this, you can also do this. How many of us as parents tell our children that you are a God? It is in the Bible. We are gods. How many of us even grew up hearing these words that you are a God? When you affirm your children with these words on a daily basis, it creates this mindset of, oh, I am a God, I can do this. I am a God. Nothing is unstoppable. But most of us is now we are realizing. Most of us as parents, we are just realizing this, trying to navigate. We are struggling. Some of us are even trying to battle. Am I really a God? Am I worthy? Am I unworthy? But that is the truth. Because affirmation have a way of shaping the identity of our children and also our identity. So from today, as a parent, we have learned that you must shape the identity of your child through the affirmations you speak to your child on a daily basis. You will even speak this affirmation to the point that it internalizes. The child now internalizes this affirmation that they can even say it to themselves when you're not there. So one of the benefits or one of the advantage you can do to your child or give to your child is to shape their identity through affirmation. Connect them to their source. Connect your child to who your child is truly is in God, in who your child is truly is in his creator. Then the second thing we can do as parents to be intentional with the words we speak to our children is watch how you correct your child. We must be careful how we correct our children because there's a thin line between correction and criticism. Most of us as parents criticize our children instead of correcting our children. The truth is that criticism stings. Even as a parent, as an adult, you wouldn't like someone to criticize you. So why do we go ahead? Why do we think it is okay for us to criticize our children? How do you correct your child? And remember, as a parent, before you can correct a child, before you can correct anybody, you must first of all connect with that person. You must first of all connect with your child before you can correct your child. So we must be careful how you correct. How do you correct your child? Do you correct your child with the intention of making that child suffer for the mistake that child has done? Or do you correct that child with the intent of making that child to make a better decision later on? Do you correct that child to empower this child so that when this child encounters a similar event or a similar situation, this child is already empowered to make the right choice or the right decision? Or do you correct that child so that this child is going to always be in pain and remember the errors that child has made? We must be careful as parents not to criticize our children. So are you that father? Are you that mother? Are you that parent? Are you that caregiver that usually criticize your child? When you criticize your child, you do a big disservice to that child. And do you know the funny thing? That child will grow up with that voice as his inner voice. That is the voice that will make up the voice and the belief of that child. So that when that child wants to venture into any productive business or something, the child remembers your criticism. When that child encounters a similar event, the child remembers your criticism and the child is unable to move. That is why a lot of us as parents, a lot of adults, a lot of people can't move. We can't make choices. We can't make decisions. Most of us are scared of making decisions because we remember how we were criticized growing up. So what if you begin to do something different for your child? Because criticism stings. So as parents, we must be intentional how we correct our children. We must be able to connect first before you can correct, and you must correct with love. You must correct with the intent of making this child become better than you met this child. You must correct with the intention of making this child to make a better and a wise decision before that child had that experience. So we must correct with love and not criticize our children. Then the other thing we can do to be intentional with the way we speak to our children is to speak identity, not just behavior. How often do we speak identity to our children? Or are we fixed or focused on just the behavior? For example, your child just broke a plate. So what is the behavior? The behavior or the action is that that child has broken that plate, but that is not who that child is. A child or the child that has broken that plate is not a plate breaker. The identity of a child is totally different from the behavior of this child. The identity of this child has already been formed right from creation. Right from when your child was in his womb, that child is already made in the image and likeness of God. That child is already whole. That child is already worthy. That child is already who that child is in God. But the identity is totally different from the behavior. So as a parent, do you always promote the action, the mistakes, the behavior instead of the identity? So when your child makes a mistake next time, instead of promoting that behavior, you tell this child you are capable. You empower this child. You connect this child to who his source or her source is. You connect this child to the identity of this child. And what is the identity of this child? The identity of this child is that you are whole. You are capable, you are worthy, you can actually carry this plate without letting it off your hand. Can I teach you? Can I show you? So we must speak the identity, not just the behavior. Whenever our children probably do something that we feel, okay, this is not right, we should not be quick to promote that behavior. Don't be quick to just pick just the behavior. Rather, we should pick and speak of the identity. Remind that child who that child is. When your child makes a mistake in school, your child has not done well in a particular course or a particular subject, or your child is struggling with math or struggling with reading or struggling with anything at all, don't promote the behavior. Don't tell the child you cannot do this while your mates are doing it. You cannot read. Why? Rather, remind that child who that child's identity is. Remind that child of his or her identity. Remind that child that you can do this. You've got this because you're created by God. You are connected to God. You are a source. You are a God. Because God can do this, you can also do this. What God cannot permit cannot happen. Remind that child of their identity. You will find out that when you do that as a parent, when that child encounters a difficult situation, when the child encounters a difficult experience, that child begins to remember who they are in God. That child begins to remember their identity. That child begins to remember that I am worthy, I am enough, I am capable, I can do this, I have got this. When the child is in the boardroom, in a difficult situation, trying to make decision, when the child is with prominent people, the child remembers who his or her identity is. And the child is at peace because you have programmed that child to always remember who their identity, not just the behavior. So another thing we can do as parents to be intentional with what we say to our children is to be intentional with our words all through the day. Whenever your child is calm and settled, if you feel it's easier for you in the morning, what words do you speak to your child when your child wakes up? Do you bless your child? Are you intentional with the words you say to your child in the morning when your child is about to go to bed? Or are you just saying, oh, go to bed, go to bed, go to bed. Oh, we'll see you tomorrow. That is all. Do you know that morning and bedtime is a very good opportunity for you to speak the word? Do you bless your child? Do you bless your children? When was the last time you laid your hands as a parent on your child and blessed your child? And blessed the future of your child? And blessed everything that concerns your child? When was the last time you spoke positive, affirmative words that remind your child of their identity before they went to bed? When was the last time you reminded your child who your child is in God before they went to bed? So we must be intentional with our morning and our bedtime routines. What do you say to your child when they wake up? What do you say to your child when they're about to go to bed? What do you say to your child when they're about to leave for school? What do you say to them when you get back from work or when they get back from school? So we must be intentional with our words all through the day, but at specific times, such as morning time, when your child is waking up. When your child is still waking up, what voices do they hear? What is the first thing your child hears? Or are you the parent that wakes up your child with a lot of yelling? They are going to school and you're yelling, you're shouting, you want to throw down the whole house down. Is it what your child will remember when your child grows up? Obviously, that is not what we want. What will your child remember when your child steps out of your house? Will your child be willing and feel proud to be a member of the house? Will that child look forward to coming back to the house? What will your child remember you always told him or her before they went to bed? What words are we speaking? We have to be intentional with our words because we have the power to bless our children. In our tongue lies the power to bless our children. Are you using that power effectively and efficiently? Are you blessing your child? Are you speaking to the life of your child? Are you speaking to the future of your child? As parents, we have to stand up to our responsibility and begin to take this mantle of leadership and begin to lead, begin to bless our children. We must be intentional out with our words. Don't just use words anyhow and say you're just joking. Some people just use words anyhow and say I'm just joking. You just use unkind words. Some parents even use swear words and just say I am joking. Do you know that language is learned? Language is learned. Language is not inborn. That is why when you give birth to a child in a particular environment, just give the child some years, the child begins to understand the language of that environment. When you give that child in a particular environment, they speak, for example, French. Just give that child a few years, the child understands French. Likewise, when you give birth to a child in a particular environment, they speak English or any native dialect at all. Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, whatever the language is. When you put that child in that environment, give that child a few years, the child begins to understand and speak that language because language is learned. Do you know those words you're throwing carelessly as a parent, your child is learning those languages. Your child is learning those words. That is why you hear some parents say, oh, my child used to swear a lot. Where did the child learn swearing? It's possible the child learned it from within their environment. You hear a parent tell you, my child uses unkind words a lot. That child has learned that language. That child has learned those words because language is learned. It is learned from the environment. So the truth is that we have to be intentional with our words, because not only that your words is going to form the inner voice of your child, your words are what your child is modeling. When you speak kind words, you will have children that speak kind words. When you throw words carelessly, you will have children that throw words carelessly to their siblings, to their classmates in school, and sometimes when they grow up to you. You see some parents saying, this child, where did you learn this from? Where did you learn this from? Why are you speaking this way? Just check the environment. Language is learned. That is one of the reasons we have to be intentional with our words. When you become a parent, as my coach will always say, you lose the opportunity to act anyhow. When you become a parent, you lose the opportunity to act anyhow. You lose the opportunity to act carelessly. You lose the opportunity to just do things anyhow, because destinies are tied to you. Destinies are tied to us. Your words might just be that thing that could save your child tomorrow. The destiny of your child is tied to you. Are you using those words to bless, to bring out that destiny, so that God, the way God has created that destiny to be manifested? We as parents must be intentional with our words. Then the other thing we can do to be intentional with our words, replace labels like what is wrong with you. Instead of asking your child what is wrong with you, why don't you ask the child what is happening within? What is happening on the inside? Can you just speak about it? Do you want to talk about it? How can I help you? Instead of telling your child, why are you doing this? What is wrong with you? This child, you're always making this mistake. What is wrong with you? No. When you do that, you discourage the child. When you do that, you make the child feel, oh, there's actually something wrong with me. Something's actually wrong with me. No. Ask the child, how can I help you? For example, your child has just played with their toys and they did not pack their toys. So instead of asking your child, what is wrong with you? You are not packing these toys. Ask this child, how can I help you so that you remember to pack your toys? What system, what structure do we need to put in place? Should we sing a song if you have a baby or a toddler? Depending on the age of your child, what can I do to remind you that you need to pack your toys? So at every point in time, our children make mistakes or they are not living up to their responsibility as they are supposed to in the home. Instead of coming in to discourage them and making them feel less or shrinking or making them feel like they are not worthy, rather tell them and ask them, how can I help you? How can we work together so that you begin to do this, your chores, effortlessly? That is how we can empower our children. Do you know at every point in time, you should be able to understand what is going on the inside of your child. So do you know what is going on the inside of your child? Your child might be acting out, but probably it's not because of that situation. It might be something that happened in school and the child is just acting out. But as a parent, if you're not observant, if you don't understand your child, you might just react immediately and spoil the whole thing. But when you ask your child, what is happening within you? Can you let me know? How do you feel? What emotion do you feel? Maybe the child will now tell you, oh, this is what happened in school. I did not like the way my friend talked to me. I did not like the way that auntie talked to me. I did not like the way this thing happened. So it's important for us as parents to always find out what is happening inside our children. Don't be quick to say what is wrong with you. What is the problem you serve? What is it? Don't be quick to say those kind of words, because those words shrinks a child. Those words discourage a child. What the child can start to, the child might just start to pretend. When they are around you, they are happy, they are smiling, and you say, oh, I have a happy child, I have a smiling child, I have a hardworking child. But inside the child is dealing with a lot. So when was the last time you asked your child what is happening inside of you? I think this should be our assignment for today. So everybody go home. After watching this video, ask your child. We can also ask ourselves, what is happening on the inside of you? How are you? Not I am fine. How are you emotionally? How are you mentally? How are you spiritually? How are you all rounded? How are you? What is happening on the inside of you? When we ask our children this question, we have the opportunity of understanding what is happening on the inside of them. So we understand them better, not just judging them from what we see on the outside. So as parents, we must be intentional with what we say to our children. You should be that parent that speaks life daily to your child. Do you speak life to your child? Or do you speak life to some certain kind of people? To people that are up high there, probably to your bosses, to your colleagues, to other parents, or to people you feel, okay, they are your friends. Do you speak life into your friends? What of your child? The child in front of you, the child God has blessed you with. Do you speak life to your child? When was the last time you spoke life to your child? When was the last time you blessed your child? When was the last time you said something that will be uplifting to your child? When was the last time you did that? So as parents, we must speak life on a daily basis to our children. In the morning, speak life to your child. In the afternoon, speak life to your child. In the evening, speak life to your child. There is no end to it. Continue to speak life to your child, because it might just be your words that could save that child. So ask yourself, what words do you want your child to replay in their head in their hard moments? When your child is having a hard moment, when your child is having a difficult moment, a difficult situation, what words do you want to play in the head of your child? What will your child remember you for? Will your child remember you as that nagging mother? Will your child remember you as that yelling father? Will your child remember you as that mother that is always frowning? Or will your child remember you as that father or mother that doesn't talk, doesn't teach, doesn't guide, or not present, or that don't encourage them? What will your child remember you in their hard moments? Because those hard moments, we don't really have control of them. They might come. When your child is in a difficult situation, what will your child remember? Will your child remember your empowering words? Will your child remember your words of blessing? Will your child remember you telling him that you've got this, you are a God, so there is nothing that you cannot do? What words are you speaking to your child? And these words we speak to our children is something we have to start early so that it's internalized, it becomes part of them. We have to reprogram them with our words. So that is the conversation as parents we have today. So we have to be intentional with our words. Every day, every second, every minute, every hour, we must be intentional with our words, because in difficult situations, when it's time to make tough decisions, our children will remember our words. They will remember our conversation. So what will your child remember you for? I think that is enough food for thoughts for all of us. So we should get back to work. Go back to the drawing board and begin to do what you need to do. We should all go back and begin to do those things we need to do. Be those parents that will be parents that will leave legacy, the legacy of the words. Do you know that your legacy, your words are part of your legacy? Do you know that the words you speak to your child is part of your legacy? So we need to get back to work and begin to do what we need to do as parents, and begin to speak those words that will be a legacy to generations yet unborn. When your children grow up, they'll say, I thank God I was parented by my father, by my mother. The words my mom spoke to me really helped me in this difficult situation. The words my father spoke to me helped me in this difficult situation. So we as parents must be intentional with our words, because your words become the belief of your children. Your words become the inner voice of your child. So what are you doing with your words? Let us be intentional with our words. I believe this video has been so helpful to you. It's been helpful to me. I've learned a lot myself. Please like this video, share this video, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Renewed Parent Academy. And my name is Chioma Odikolo. Thank you for your time. Do have a great day and see you later. Bye.